fake it till you make it. And what I mean by that is in the most positive way. If you're in a situation or you're battling whatever element or whatever experience at the time, you never know how close you are to achieving whatever you're trying to achieve. And if you're about to fail, just keep pushing, just keep going. But if you're shaking on the inside, it doesn't matter. Just keep going. Don't let everyone else see that you're shaking on the inside.
Welcome world, welcome family to another episode of the EL2A Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Gilmore Jr. To the right of me, we got Mr. Military Man, Mr. Miles Mechanical. How you feeling today, brother?
Feeling pretty good.
Love to hear, love to hear. To the right of him, we have the Rocket, the highest of 7 hills, Mr. Eddie Rocket. How you feeling today, brother?
I'm pretty good, man.
Yeah, anything you want to tell us, boy? Anything you want to tell us, folks?
So, I'm a new dad again.
New dad, man.
For the fourth time, for those that didn't know. I know what you're probably thinking. We ain't got a lot of kids, but nah, we had our baby girl Yuri October 5th at 5:40. Yeah, so yeah,
Congratulations, bro.
Awesome, beautiful niece into the world. So excited about her. But we definitely got another person to the right of him. I know you probably just seen his hand come in the screen. But to the right of him, we got Mr. Brien Weide. How you feeling today, brother?
Good, man. Good to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yep. Thank you for
Appreciate
being
you.
here. I always like to give context when we bring people on, your special guests. You took time out your day to come here and join us. But I like to, give a little context of how we met. I think Sarah, actually put out whatever you want to call Facebook post asking
APB.
Yeah, right. For someone to come help, or because we were at that time, we were looking for different opportunities to experience our boys too. Your name was one of the people that was on there. Somehow we connected sometimes, and we linked up, and we partnered. You sponsored, so it just shows the person that you are. So we appreciate you for that, Brian.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's great having you guys out there.
Yeah, man, and even that experience alone, you got to think about some of the things we do now, and I'm gonna actually let you do it. So we'll start off like that, because we created a cool experience. Just to give context, we created a cool experience for our young men. We were able to go over to Brian's shop, or we didn't say what Brian does, but he'll get a little more to it. He owns an auto mechanic shop. And that's not the cool thing, and most people don't say, I want to grow up and say, hey, I want to own an auto mechanic shop. I want to fix cars. That's not usually what we say. And that's the profession you're in. We're able to link, and we went over, and some of the things that we were doing, man, it's the skills we got away from. Today's world, kids are all on their phone. They don't know how to change oil. They don't know how to change a tire. They don't know how to do these certain things. And we were able to create a workshop for our boys to be able to go over, I think it was like 4 different stations. So Brian, tell us a little bit more about the experience that we had over at your shop that we did that day.
Yeah, definitely, man. And so what I wanted them to experience was a full variety of what the automotive experience is like. So we had them doing oil changes, some electrical diag and repair, welding, which is a really popular one nowadays. To get to experience that is a huge one too. So welding, and then some basic removal of tires and install and brake inspections. So and with a rotation, so they all got to experience and enjoy it. And it was so neat, man, to watch them like dive into the engines and ripping the tires off and using impact guns and welding and making little figurines and little monsters and stuff. And sure, it was profound for the young men that were there, building their character. Afterwards, some of the guys at the shop, the big burly mechanic kind of guys, I think I told you this story, they came up to me and I was like, man, can we do that again? Can we do that again? Like so you're not just changing hearts of these young men, but you're also changing hearts of like these people in the community too.
So man, that we say that all the time. So even in the work we do, we show up as the mentor. So you show up as the person with the answers. But it's crazy that we show up and we get questions answered that we didn't even know we need answered through the young men that we serve, through the experiences, something they may be going through that we may be helping them with, and they don't know how much it's helping us. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. That's the beauty of helping others in general. And to say, when we talk about helping others, you obviously have a heart to help. I know I see you sponsor us. You sponsored numerous other things in the community. So I kind of want to get to the bottom of that. Like, where does that come from? Where does your heart of giving back, where does that come from? Does it start from childhood? Was that something that was taught to you, or you like groomed into the person you are today when it comes to giving back?
So yeah, a lot of it's mentorship from folks in the community, seeing others give back to the community. Yes, I grew up very poor too. It was something. It was lack of opportunities as a kid too. So to see what you do, Jamie, in the community, giving young men opportunities to see different job and career opportunities and to grow. I mean, that's something I want to be behind for sure, because I didn't have that as a kid. I didn't have those opportunities to see different job opportunities. I didn't know there were wealth managements, and I didn't know there were, different types of law degrees. I just knew there were astronauts, there were doctors, and that's what you could go to be. So to get behind charitable companies or organizations, like it's huge. It's a big deal. Yes, I'm an automotive shop owner, and that's what we do. But the big push, my heart is in charities. My heart is in this is the community. Is this kind of stuff is you guys.
Yeah, and you grew up here in Ocala, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So when you say it's funny, we had so many people. So guests sit right there, and there's an image, and we on the EL2A podcast, we keep it real. There's an image, you know what I mean? You're a white man, you got a little clean cut, you own a business. So there's a perception of that you made, this was handed down to you, your life was easy, but you just stated that you grew up poor. So when you're saying you grew up poor, did you grow up in two-parent household, or did?
So yeah, it was my mom. She raised me. We lived with my grandmother and my sister, and so it was just us. My mom worked for a nonprofit company here in town, so she didn't have a whole lot of income. And that was the lifestyle. My dad passed away when I was younger. Not that he was in the household before. He lived in Illinois. I met him a handful of times and had a relationship with him over the phone, but not as much of a mentorship as you do with your young men here. So I had no father figure in the household, poor income. I also had a pretty tough learning disability going through school too, which was really hard. And then I wasn't in shape either. So as a young kid, I was like, man, God, why did I get all these awesome opportunities?
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to have God in my life. I was fortunate to know that it was it was the path, it was the direction, it was the starting point to make more and to develop and to grow out of it. It's your try that got me out of those areas, and it was nothing more. I was given nothing. It was that I tried and I never stopped trying, and that every situation that was terrible or not great or that was no opportunity, that I just kept trying. Yeah. And I tried and I tried and I tried.
That's beautiful.
And that was it.
That's beautiful. Thinking about all the things you just said, man, you had a list of deficiencies in the sense that you said, or lack of, not the father, like you say, a learning disability, not in shape. Those are, for a child, those are all things for other children to pick at. You get what I'm saying? When you're not the one in shape, you're not the fastest, you're not the athlete guy, or you're the one that's in class and things may not come to you as they come to others, so they call you slow or these different things. And then you didn't have your father in the house. I share a lot of times, even with my boys, it's hard for me sometimes when I'm dealing with our boys to know that they didn't have that feeling that I had of going home to my dad and my dad affirming me seeing what it looks like to be a man, me seeing my dad just navigate relationships with other people, how he postured himself, and just knowing, okay, I just need to imitate this. So with all those things that you didn't have, what allows you to be, and I know you just say just not giving up, but going back to that child, you like, what were you dealing with, you know what I mean, during those times? How were you able to like keep going to the next day, or just making that work for yourself? Because a lot of kids deal with, situations like that, push them to the deep end, you know what I mean? They end up hurting themselves or hurting someone else, you know what I mean? But what allowed you to just, I guess, maintain, that focus? Yeah.
And as a kid, those horrific kind of thoughts were, it wasn't a great time. So it was always a potential. But that try, that inherent, I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna, that chip on my shoulder about it. I'm not gonna let that teacher tell me that I can't be anything. I'm not gonna let life's starting point define where Brian's gonna be. And that's just that like internal, this isn't my ending because of where it began. Yeah. That was just it. It was just drive.
Yeah. When you so coming out of high school, it's funny, we talked about it kind of offline a little bit, but when kids think about what they're gonna do, especially young men that choose, I'm gonna go play sports or There, when you talk about the careers that we're gonna do, it's one of the Army or doing something. So you ended up going to the Army. So we always mention this guy. So we call him Mr. Military, man. He got this name for one of our young boys. I don't even know why Troy. He just came out and just called him Mr. Military, obviously because he was in the Army. But you were in the Marine Corps. So for you to choose that path, what led to that decision of you going to the Marines?
It was another one of those. I wanted to prove a point. Being not all that in shape as a young man, I said, yeah, Army. I like Army. That's a good idea. I couldn't find that recruiting office at the time. The Marine Corps was there. I found that one. Yeah. No, it was. They have a notoriety for being hardcore, for being just all that energy, extra physical, and I wanted to have that proof that I can do it, I can achieve it if I want to. If I set my mind to it, I can do it. And that's all I think life is. If you want to achieve anything, you just set your mind to it, and that's it. Yeah. You can do whatever you want to do.
That's right. How was that experience? I thought you were saying, how was that experience though? So in the Marines, because I hear a lot of different things about it. So this guy was the Army. I hear you guys are a little tougher than these guys. So I your experience maybe was a little different. So I want to how was your Marine Corps experience?
Surreal is the the single word answer I would give you. As you're being marched through the shower, to do a single wash, and there's still a drill instructor in there yelling at you, fully clothed. Yeah. And you realize, like, wow, what did I do? Maybe college wasn't so terrible. It was maybe the wrong direction here. And then you just push through it. You push through it, and you're like, this is what I wanted. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Yeah. And the next day, and your body just moves. Yeah. You learn muscle memory, just like in football. You just move. That ball's going that way, that's where you're going. Yeah. That's it. There isn't anything else about it. There isn't conversation in your head. You just do. Yeah. And so that's what you learn.
Love that just do mentality. I mean, it's funny. And even to hear you saying that, man, the world isn't wired that way. Yeah. So somebody would look at you like, this man is crazy. But the just do mentality or building healthy habits, we react. Just this weekend, we were in an unfortunate situation. We were at NCYFL, and they started shooting out there while we were there. But instinctively, like the fight or flight situation scenarios, if everyone was trained in every scenario, in that scenario, there was a case of no one's trained, because all you see is people going everywhere. It's just a lot of noise and everyone going everywhere. That's why you guys train so hard. That's why in football we train so hard, because we want to know when that moment comes, when the heat of battle, that we know how to respond. That there's no lack of movement, there's no lack of thought, there's no questioning of what to do. We just jump into the character of who we need to be. And imagine a world if everybody operated in that sense. And even thinking about, so when I think about, because I never would have thought, I think you thought about going to the military.
That's what I was already laughing. Yeah, I'm sticking literally in the middle. I went there. I found her. Yeah. I went to the place. After hearing some of the things that they said I was going to have to do, like you said, you thought about pushing. So I already did college. So all the pushing through and all that, I was like, I don't want to do it again. So I kind of backed away from that.
How long did you end up doing?
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, 2 years inactive. Yeah.
Okay. And the reason you get out, just dropping them down with it, or
I was having a daughter at the time, and I didn't. Selfish as it sounds, I didn't want to go away for 9 months and then come back and her not know me.
Yeah.
That's so.
That was actually the reason. That was the final. Like when they said that I would have to sign over my rights. Mm-hmm. It's like nah.
Yeah.
But I was already saying no, because I knew I was gonna have to get up at 5 o'clock everywhere, whatever time they were getting out. Man, I had enough of that.
Kids are a big deal, yeah.
Yeah. What do you because when I think about my experience with the and I like to go like round table style with this one. So obviously you Army, you football, and you the Marines. When you think about those experiences, because those aren't regular experiences. Again, those are experiences that train and make you who you are today. Is that will never leave you. There is something you took from that time of your life, from those institutions that'll stick with you today. And when I think about my experience in football, it's the word mental toughness, from the sense of your brain being able to tell your body, you know what I mean, what it can do or control your body. We get into a world to where, if we're doing something and our body says, I can't do this, then we listen to our body, not knowing that we have extra. So when I first heard the word, and I said this on here many of times, when I first heard the word mental toughness, I had a hate relationship with it, because my coach would only use that word when he was inflicting pain on me. So it's like, you bring this up in the pain. So anytime I hear this word, I automatically like, bro, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear this. But I start figuring out that I always had more in me. We used to run like 110s. And one day we were we were going through it, man. Our average was about 18 to 20 what we were run. This day we got up to about 40. And it got to a point in time that I was just moving. Like it didn't fade. I didn't feel anything. Like I was so locked into the movement of what we're doing that I just kept going. And you get to, then it started like I start understanding like this, it's all mental, bro. Like our bodies can do these amazing things that we don't allow them to do because we instantly went comfort. You know, when we get past that threshold of comfort, we just shut it down. Knowing if we push past it, that we can get more and more. So mine is always mental toughness. I'd like to hear y'all what you think you got from your experience in ours.
I mean, that mental toughness goes into it. The other thing I say is that, you know, everything works on a cycle. You know, it's the bad times, the good times, they all come and go. So not to really get so fixated on when you're going through a hard time. And it's really just that passage of time and understanding that you kind of have to just be in it, you know, because people say all the time, well, you know, sometimes you'll go through a period where life kind of sucks a little bit, but you just have to endure. Okay, that sounds good, but have you actually experienced when you're in the true suck? Like for us, have you experienced when it's negative degrees outside and you're literally told that you have to sit on that hill and provide observation for hours on end, or maybe a day, maybe it's 2 days, you don't know. And you're sitting there in these harsh elements, you know, having to deal with it with no light at the end of the tunnel to really put your mind towards, say, oh, I only have to be out here for an hour or so. No, you don't know. You may be out there for a while. You never know. So it's just teaching you how to just prepare for those cycles, those moments, you know, because you could be out there for a long time. So how does that impact your preparation to go out there? How does that impact your loadout when you're going out there? You know, because you don't know when you're coming back out of it. So it just taught me just to navigate life the same way. I don't know how long a storm is going to be when I enter it in life, you know, whatever that hardship may be. It's my job, though, to make sure that I'm prepared for when that storm does show up, because it's going to come. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Am I prepared for when that storm comes? And even if I'm not, am I mentally prepared to endure throughout the entirety to make it on that backside of it? And that's what the service taught me, is that one, you can survive, you know, to get through the storm. And two is how to prepare for when these storms do come. What type of mentalities to really incorporate in yourself, or to really make sure that you're honing in those times where you are prospering, or when it is, you know, easy going. Those are the times where you prep for the storm, not just coast.
For sure. What about you, Rosh?
Yeah. Maturity was one. Maturity. So mental toughness was one for sure. That was crazy. A culture shock for real, going from high school and you know, our coaches in high school, Coach Collins, the coaches did a great job of working us out. But then it got to the point you get to college and it's like, it was just different. It was completely different. So, but mental toughness. But then with Coach Taylor, my freshman and sophomore year, we were really good, and then my junior year, we started declining. But what was consistent across, you know, the years that I had with him, was he was teaching us how to be a man, like teaching the team to be men. And some of, you know, his not pregame speeches, so we'll do FCA the night before, and it was like everything that he said, it was certain little sayings. Like it's this guy Brandon he was like part of the equipment team. He remembered a lot of his quotes that he said, but it was just, so I said 2 weeks ago, don't try to be the man, just be a man. And you know, at that point it's like, what, you know, we trying to play ball, you trying to teach me how to be a man, we trying to win. And then it was this one that he was talking about. It was one that said, a man's not worth the salt on his body if he doesn't like challenges. So for some, you know, you're looking at like, you know, what does he mean? Well, paint the picture. Again, I know I talked about this on the podcast before. I weigh 180, 190 right now. Back then in college, I probably was 179 on a good day. I got a 225-pound linebacker in front of me. He's calling me out so one-on-ones. In my mind, I'm like, God, no. You know. But at the end of the day, you know, and I know he knows the dynamics. Like, it doesn't look good, but I know him. You know, again, coaches see more in you, or mentors know, see more in you than you see in yourself. So even in those moments, me being able to hold my own, and good job, Rock, for handling that one-on-one situation. Those are certain things in that moment. Yes, it's about football, but as I mature as a man now, there are certain things that I'm facing, or certain situations that I have to put myself into. My son was 6 months old, and I decided to go to Tallahassee to transfer my job. I did it, and I'll tell you the truth. My mom, she was not happy. But again, as a man, there was something that I had to do in order to take my family from where I was, or where we were, to, where we got over those 6 months. That was a challenge, because now I left my 6-month-old child and my girl at that point in time. But then I look back and it's like, that was one of the best decisions I could have made. But those type of things, the maturity and being able to stand up and just be a man in certain moments. And I get, and it goes back to the mentality of mental toughness. I'm sure we all could share the same story, but those moments that I shared with Coach Taylor, it just built me up to be the man that I am today. That helped build me into the man that I am today.
What's up, Brian?
Oh, to mine. Fake it till you make it. And what I mean by that is in the most positive way. If you're in a situation, or you're battling whatever element or whatever experience at the time, you never know how close you are to achieving whatever you're trying to achieve. And if you're about to fail, just keep pushing, just keep going. If you're shaking on the inside, it doesn't matter. Just keep going. Don't let everyone else see that you're shaking on the inside. An example, the rappel tower. I'm terrified of heights, right? Yeah. So on the rappel tower, I'm shaking. I'm like, oh man, these guys, they like that kind of stuff. They like it when you shake, because then they'll run you through it a couple more times. Yeah. So I just calmed down. I just did the rappel tower. I saw a couple guys, shaking real bad, and I tried to say, hey, don't do that, because they're gonna like it, right? They'll freak out. They'll they couldn't stop, right? They couldn't fake it till they made it. I did the rappel tower. It went down. So scared, I even forgot how to brake. Like, I forgot how to stick my arm out and brake. The guy almost had to catch me on the bottom. Last minute, I'm like, oh, like that. And I slowed down a little bit. Yeah. And so, that's how scared I am of heights. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That was fun. I did it on purpose. All right, cool. Now get you to the back of the line. You're done. Okay, cool. I'm over there. They ran those guys that were shaken and scared 6, 7, 8 times. Ran them up, ran them down, ran them up, ran them down, continuously, on and on and on, because they didn't hide it well enough, right? So they let everybody know where they were. They let it, so just fake it. You've got it. You're winning. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You got this. Just act cool, calm, and collective.
Yeah. Same thing with the
act like you're on stage and you're not afraid of what's going on right now.
Same thing with the gas chamber. Chamber get a lot of people like that, because they start freaking out and everything else. You just gotta, like they always say, it's quicker to just go through. Go through it. But you show that sign of weakness, now you're a target. Now they pull you out, and like you say, have you go through it 3 or 4 times till you build that confidence up. That's really what it's gauged to do. Just build your confidence in not only yourself, but your teammates around you, that all y'all are going through the suck at the same time. All y'all are surviving each and every day. So just stack them days up from then on out. But for sure, they definitely
enjoy torture.
You out.
You said enjoy torture.
They'll get you.
Yeah.
They'll get you.
That's all what we're talking about, that mental, man, and it helps you now. But even transitioning, so automotive. So how do we get there? How do we get to you liking vehicles, liking the fixed cars? Is something you were doing early on?
So in high school, I dual enrolled at CFCC when they still had a welding program. So that's why it was such a big deal for me to do welding when your young men came to the program, because that's what sparked my interest. They had a couple of career paths that I could dual enroll to when I went to high school, and welding was one of them. I said, all right, well, I want to weld. Let me try it. And so that's why I wanted your young men to be able to experience that too. So welding, I dual enrolled there for 2 years. After that, I went to the automotive program at CF. I found out quickly that trying to work and do college is not so much that easy. So I went into the military, did aviation mechanics, went all over the world doing different helicopters and different things of that nature. Came back, got into the automotive field specifically here, then did some fire trucks and ambulances with different municipalities around, and then eventually started my own shop.
Yeah. And that's what I'm gonna get to too. So doing automotive is one thing. So working in it is one thing, but owning a business is a whole nother thing. So was that when you start working in it, did you get to a point that you're seeing like I can do this on my own, or is just have you always wanted to have a business mind, a business of your own to be able to operate in your own?
So I didn't realize how long ago I've wanted to be an entrepreneur. I found this old book that my sister gave me when I was in like middle school. It says How to Be an Entrepreneur, right? Which was ironic because I couldn't read it at the time. Yeah, funny. But the idea that that I've always talked about it, that I've always wanted to be a leader, and it's because I want to take care of people. Because I know that if I am in charge, that I know you're going to get taken care of. I know you're going to get taken care of. And I know you're going to get taken care of because I'm the one leading it. And I know that you're going to get everything you're supposed to, and you are. And that's when I'm in charge, that's what I find is the best.
Yeah, and it's funny, man. Everybody say, like everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to be a boss. You know what I mean? That's something even young. I want to be my own boss. But that comes with a lot of challenges. It's not easy to do. A lot of people make it look easier than what it is. So I want to know in your industry, I guess, so what are some of the biggest challenges as owners that you face today?
Well, so a big challenge in the automotive or trade industry in general is hazing. So like picking on people and like demoralizing or deconstructive like banter.
Wow.
Everyone wants to be a nurse or a doctor or something like that. Well, it's because they don't pick on them. They don't, or be a secretary. Well, it's because you get into those trades and you don't get picked on for 3 or 4 days. You don't get spiders or snakes put into your tool drawer, or you don't get like wedgies or whatever, anything else you can think of that's like not morale building.
Yeah.
So anti-positivity. And so it's a really big negative thing on top of the industry's already hard. It's expensive to have the tools. It's sweaty and hot, and it's a very technical terminologies for everything, and so it's hard. It's not just easy. So all of that, and then people are mean also. It's like I couldn't imagine why people are leaving the trades. I say that sarcastically. So that's a big thing I see, that the industries are not kind to new mechanics. And so that's something I change in my shop. We're all good. We're all positive. It's not always, right? You're going to have bad days, but we're all going to speak life. We're all going to speak positively. We're all going to be kind to each other. And we all work towards the customers having a better experience. Well, that starts with inside the team. If the teams are tighter, if we're more unified, if we're one unit, cohesive, then that's it. And they're going to get a better experience. They just are.
How do you navigate that? So as from a leader perspective, how do you navigate the team? So as far as maybe one person not feeling the same way as you may feel, the team may feel, or in the sense of what you're saying, somebody hazing or doing the things that you just said, how do you create that oneness? Or if it may get to the left, how do you bring it back together at your shop?
Yeah. So men in this case, because they're traditionally men in the automotive industry, or at least at this shop, they like to be tough, and they like to be, like aggressive, or have like the energy. Banter is usually that form of that. I can make a joke, or I can be witty, or I can be comical. And by being more than that than the other person, then they're the more aggressor, right? Well, so that's fine, but instead of that being it, why don't you transform that energy into a more positive one? And instead of like, hey, you got stupid pants on, how about we say, hey, nice shirt, or like be positive in a different direction on, hey, you did a good job here. Let's focus on this next time. It's not easy to be positive. It's hard. So if you want to be this tough guy, if you want to be this macho-ness, then do the tougher route, which is be positive. Speak some love. It's hard. Try it. It's super hard. So, and that's what we do. And constant re-saying it and repeating it to them. It's just, reaffirming it. Yeah, that's just.
I like that. What you say? You say, what do you say?
Speak love.
Take the tough. No, take the tough. If you want to be macho, take the tougher route and be nice. We live in a negative world. I mean, we know this. You get on your phone, the first thing you're gonna see on social media is something negative, because that's negativity sells. Negativity is loud, and that's what they promote. So even in that environment, I can only imagine. It's like you just said, it's high, it's aggressive, it's all the factors of when mad happens, it escalates it. You know what I mean? I'm already hot, I'm already aggravated, I'm already sweaty, so it just escalates everything. So I love that approach. When you think about, and I'm pretty sure your military background has to do something, and even on the outside of your business, you promote that you're veteran on. So how do you diffuse, I guess, the values that you learned through the military into the business, and why is it important that you allow people to know that you're veteran on?
So they'll initially know that we're going to show up on time to work, at least 15 minutes early, as you caught earlier. As I showed up to this, we're 30 minutes early. Sorry. So it comes with a certain set of standards. Being military, you're going to hold yourself to a certain standard. Ideally, you're going to be on time. You're going to be a little more professional. You're going to talk with a certain level of respect. Inside that kind of a unit, you just have things that are just, C.S. Lewis calls it goes without saying, just things that go without saying. And those are just givens with military folks. It's just a given. How we implement it inside the shop is that unit cohesiveness, so that we're all bonded and we all work together very well, so that we can give the best experience to everyone around us.
You know, because I know now it's more like relationships, and when it comes to that, because somebody's going to go, even if your shop is better, but they got a relationship with Mr. Tom on the other side of town, they're usually going to take the car over there because they know him. They make it take it over there and not have to pay him right away, can pay him a couple of days later. So how do you go in your shop when it comes to building, I guess, that loyalty and that trust with your customers? Is it like, do you have a certain approach that you guys use with the people that you with your customers?
So I just try to be myself. I just show who I am. I've gone out and tried to tell people who I am, and that just doesn't seem to work. Just telling people things is not really the route, but just to go out and be you. You know, you go out and be Jamie all the time, and it's pretty profound. Just doing you. You just do you, and it's a pretty big deal. And so I'm just out here being Brien.
So
people will see it. People see you.
I appreciate you too. But even now, do you think there's there's different companies around town, and I think it's come of not importance, but it comes what a word I'm looking for. Like, everybody's being more aware that you get more when you give back. And I think that a lot of companies are taking that approach. So they're becoming more of community advocates, or whatever word you want to say. When it thanks to you, is there did you have like that awakening? Because again, we've known each other about a year now, even a little less. But so I met you as Brien, who you are today. Were you always doing this? Were you always giving back? Were you always trying to find ways to help community organizations with your business? How long have you guys been going to? That's another.
So we've been incorporated since 2019.
Okay.
I opened the doors for a nice soft opening in 2020.
Same with us.
So COVID, got to experience that. We made it through there just fine. Things have started to take off in the last 2 years. And then since the ability for me to leave the shop and leave it on its own, I've been able to venture out and do these stuff like this, so that I'm not at the shop either fixing cars or being up front working with customers, but that I can be out in the community now.
That's it. So how was that? So, because that was an adjustment for me, because we kind of got to that spot. We kind of got to that spot here lately for us. So I'm more so may not be on the ground as much as I was, but for me that was like a whole culture shock for me, because it was hard to pull myself away, because the foundation was built off of, you build habits, you build your life around the things that you're doing. And so when you pull yourself away, it's like you're missing something. So did you deal with that when you got pulling yourself away?
And the cut different brand is it's Jamie. You know what I mean? You were the foundation. Like so you had to take you out of it to go do other things, and not just Jamie, you know what I mean? It's more than, but I mean, like you're a profound member of that foundation. So to like take you and go do other things is scary. So the same thing, Brien, from the Weide Automotive brand is when I'm not there for people to meet me and talk with me, and it's scary because people want that relationship when they come in there. So yeah, it was hard. I had to find somebody that I liked a lot and that I trusted, and that was just really, really focused on the same viewpoints as I was. Good, solid, customer-based service manager, Christian fellow, just been in the industry a long time, knew what he was doing, and just an all-around good guy that could take people and just empathize with them and love them and just do the right thing. Whether it sometimes costs us money or not, if doing the right thing is the way to go, and that's what we do.
I mean, it's cool to see the changes too. So even though, like you say, you're right. In the beginning, I was, part of that foundation, but to see where we're at now, if you ask anybody cut different, you're gonna hear these, you gonna hear Eddie, you gonna hear Miles, you're gonna hear their name, because at the end of the day, when you're the one touching the people, and they're the one in the trenches, you know what I mean, when it comes to for what this period of time, like our in school portion that we're doing. And that's what we always wanted to be. And I always, in the beginning, I used to say, man, I used to, especially Eddie, I was like, pushing, like, I don't want people to think of cut different than just think of me. You know what I mean? This is something we created together. And our situation a little different. He was in Tallahassee, and he came back home, and that's why he wasn't there for the foundation. But still, though, like to your point, though, when you're able to find a team of people that you can trust to be out and you can go do it, that's only going to take us to higher heights. And needless to say, you're doing that. You have growth plans right now. So let's get into that, man. We're growing. So the facility that we know today is not going to be here in a couple months' time. So talk more about the growth plans that you got going on.
So yeah, that's exciting. And so in that context, you being the foundation, just because we were talking. I know you're a portion of it too.
I wasn't
so
I seen, but most times, so I always have to tell people, even in that moment, when he achieves something, like it goes without saying. A lot of people they didn't even know that was like, they don't even know we had the same mom. And I'm talking about till this day. People are, that's your mom, that's our mom. So when even in that moment when he had to take a step back, it was still I felt that when everybody was still Jamie, but you touched it good, and I was gonna go into it, but when you have to being able to trust somebody. So I guess it's a little easier because I am his brother, but you finding your service manager, I'm sure y'all not related, are y'all?
No, we're not. Yeah.
So cool. So having to trust somebody else with the business, so to speak, so that you can go do the rest, like to grow your business. Yeah. I know it's not hard. So, and so it was a challenge for us at one point, and I was having to tell him, because I worked at a Cohen Distributor for 7 years. So I was a department manager, so I was able to manage, so to speak. So when I came on full time, I'm trying to pull from him, like, hey, let me. Yeah. But he was in it, like he said. So it initially was trying to figure out, all right, how are we gonna do it? So I understand, being able to do the community aspect of it, to place it in somebody else's hand while you're out doing the next part. That's where we are now. With what we got going in for the future of Cut Different. There are certain things that Jamie did that he's doing now while we still handle this on this side.
To get back to, if you're done, sorry, I didn't want to be impolite earlier, not include you. Yeah. And then I felt bad. So all right, now that we've gone full circle, all right, cool. Okay. I feel guilt. I don't like. You're the only one here. Jeez. Golly, man. Empathy eyes over here. Yes. So what is planned for the future is. That Weide Automotive will transfer from a 1,300 square foot building to a 6,000 square foot building. The old building is going to get demolished, and it'll be a parking lot, and behind that will be the new building. And that will be done end of December timeframe, January-ish, ideally. And construction, some bureaucracy mixed in there, and it'll get there. It's moving. The folks are doing things, and stuff's progressing. So and then next year we're gonna look for an additional place. So progress and continuation on the brand, multiple locations. is always going to be the goal.
Yeah.
And with that, more community building.
Yeah.
Build the automotive shop. Yes, that's help people. Automotive related stuff. Yes, but then to get into the community is the goal.
And I was going to ask that. So with because we do understand. Do you for your organization, for your business?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like the community supports your business?
Yes. The local demographic around an automotive shop will be like a 10-mile radius, and so anyone around there that they'll see it, and that's how they'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, passing traffic, that's how you'll get it too.
Mm-hmm.
Or that somebody or some ad or something. That's how you get individuals into the shop. So the community around there, yes, I know they see us, and they've been coming into us for years and years and years and using us, and some really great loyal customers, some really great folks we've helped out over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Before we were out and about doing things, we were doing things like Miles, like we did with the lady the other day. We've done stuff like that where we help folks out and just give repairs away. We've done that for years and years. We don't give any notoriety to it. We don't mention it. But the people, for a while there, I had someone crying on my shoulder, like maybe once every couple of weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal. Automotive and expenses are expensive. And so you get single parents and single moms or single dads, and it's hard. $600-700 expenses abruptly is hard. So sometimes we're able to give those away if it's feasible, and mention it.
Gotcha. So with you being in the community and the things that you've been doing, I guess over the last few years, like what has been your community with the outreach that you've done? What's been like the best experience that you had?
The best one. I think the best event was I like this cut different one, honestly. The one where the young men were up on stage, watching them speak.
You were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, man, I need to practice whatever their speech program is. I'm like, man, I need some of that.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. I really liked that one.
Gotcha.
And then you guys coming to the shop, but more so, that was important. But seeing my guys gain perspective from it and being like, man, that's can we do this again?
Yeah.
Can we? Because that spark is my spark. Obviously I'm out. I want the community to come in. I want to help the community. But now that I see my guys liking it, the guys that work for me, can we do this more?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can.
So I was only asking that question because you said that at the beginning, and I should have touched it then. But now that we're back here, when you said your guys are getting that feeling from helping our youth, I'm pretty sure you probably didn't see it, but with one of our kids, one of our mentees that was at the shop, his mom just posted tire changing. He was checking the oil. He didn't change it. He was checking the oil. He was using the impact gun to taking one of the tires off. So even though you didn't know, I'm sharing that what they learned at your shop.
Yeah.
Some of the kids are taking that home. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? So that and I did it purposely asking about the community, but you are making a difference within the community, whether you know it or not. But we do see it, and going back to what James said originally, that's the reason why we do what we do. I did want to do auto mechanics also in high school, but I was in intensive read, so it was either PE or mechanics. Auto mechanics, give me PE. But and through that, I thought it was something that I wanted to do, and there are things that we laugh about because there's certain things that I know I probably should be changing on the car, doing to the car, but nah, I'll leave it to you. Yeah. But you are making a difference in the community, whether you see it on a day-to-day basis or not, especially when you through helping with our youth. With our boys coming to the shop, man, that was big to even see that now. And he and I got on the phone, and I was asking him about the tire. I'm like, man, the tire was bigger than you, but he mentioned because even at the shop, the tire was bigger than him. So I was laughing with him then. But you are your group, your business is doing
that's awesome, man. Thanks. Words of affirmation are a big deal.
For sure.
I like those stuff. And I was thinking about it as we were talking about the growth. One thing that came to mind, one thing I like to do is put our viewers in the mind of the person that's in here, or so for a business owner, We talk about growth a lot. So even as an individual, you should be growing. You should be constantly growing or becoming a better person. So in this sense of you becoming, growing the business out, what allows you to know, okay, it's time to build the building, the next building? I reach a financial level, or I reach a certain level where what has to be in order for you as a business owner to say, okay, now it's time to put one behind us, a bigger building?
Yeah, so that makes sense. So on average, like a dealership mentality or like a bigger shop mentality, you'll have like a single mechanic for a couple of bays. And so you'll have like 6 or 7 bays or something like that. So you can bring in cars, and so they can work on a couple of cars at a time. That's how you math up, these kind of things. So I have 3 mechanics and 2 bays. Yeah. So if you math it up, I've got way too many mechanics for the size of the building. And we push out so much work. It's comparable to like a 7 or 8 bay shop. And we do that with quality work, cohesion, time management, logistics, and helping folks out at the same time. Having a bigger building, having a bigger facility allows me to treat the guys better. With the new building, they're gonna have some AC in there eventually. They're gonna have a little more arm room. So that we can get you guys out there again. And do some more things, some bigger events. It's just quality of life will be significantly better with a bigger building. This will also allow me to show that automotive shops can have a different mentality than just what we've been used to in the past. You don't just have to be, macho, this is just how it's done, this is how the old ways. It doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. It can be a kind environment, still be proficient, still make money, and still help the community.
Yeah, man, that's so crazy, because that spoke to me, because that's all about who we were, how we started. So when we got into this space, we understood there was a certain way of how a nonprofit looked, felt, and what they did. You know what I mean? Even when it comes to social media, just certain approaches, it's certain things that people in this space didn't do. They don't have podcasts. They don't have these different things. So we always knew we had to make it look different. We had to make it look different. We had to make it feel different. That's why the logos and everything, we did looks a certain way, because we wanted it to feel different. And we knew that would be a part of us building our reputation. Our name is cut different. So we got to be different. We got to look different. We have to be unique. So when you think about reputation, when it comes to building your reputation, is that something that I know you think about it, but is that something that you are strategically doing? So like you just said, you wanted to separate yourself or show that it doesn't have to be done the way everyone's doing. So in a sense, I guess I'm basically asking, what separates you? So what separates you from the other automotive shops? Like
from like Brien to automotive,
Weide to other ones.
Yeah. Well, so I try to keep some of my stuff to myself, because I want my customers to feel welcomed and nourished and transparent, and anything that they want, they can just come in there. So I don't put any kind of political anything on there. I don't put any of my viewpoints on there. I do have a Christian aspect on there. I give Bibles and some biblical texts away at the shop. That's about as pushy as I get. Yeah. I like a nice safe space in case folks want to talk Jesus in there. Then I welcome that, and it's pretty fun to get to chat with people on a regular basis. It's become a bit of a fun ministry there, just hanging out with people, and they see the Joy FM's on, they see the other stuff inside the office, and we get to talk. I'd say talk Jesus, but it's like it's my thing. We get to chat about it. It's cool. So Brien is Brien's a dad. Brien's a Christian. Brien's an Ocalian, Marine, afraid of heights. Weide Automotive, Brien, is let's get these things done. Let's get stuff done. Let's get things moving. Let's get going. Let's be positive. Let's be kind to people, but also let's get moving so that we can get folks happy and get things turned around. And how can I help? How can I do this? A little more high-paced version, but it's high-paced so that you can have your car back by 5 o'clock. Because for the most part, my demographic in that area are single vehicle households. So that mom needs that car to go pick up her kids at the end of the day. So for me to dilly-dally around and maybe we get to it later, and you take 2 hours of lunch today.
Yeah.
Well, that 2-hour lunch just caused this lady or this man to have to genuinely be in strife because of slowness.
Yeah.
So it's not acceptable for us. So.
And you mentioned your kids, so you are a family man. So when you think about business, it's very demanding, especially talking about growing out of business. So time is limited. So how do you go about balancing, I guess, business and family when it comes to spending time with the little ones and making sure that you're putting the time, within the business and with them as well?
Yeah. So on days that I get the opportunity to leave a little bit early, and Jeremy, the manager up front, can handle it, I'll go get the kids early from school. We'll go do our own things. We'll go to some parks. We'll go to just some hangout time. They like the beach. We get to just have some dad kid time. My son likes to wrestle. It's not so much fun being 36 now. Back's getting a little older. Knees aren't working so great. But my daughter, she's still sweet. She's 10, so that's great. She's still dainty. She doesn't beat me up.
I like it. So, and man, it's cool. It's always cool to show. If you think about, and I don't know how many, if you're watching in the pod, but when we had politicians, political people, we had, help me out, guys, struggling right now, I guess. Community. We had different sectors up here on the stage, and to be able to hit a story, a lot of the stories come back to similar aspects. Of saying a person not maybe having something or not having something, but making the thought or the vision that I want more for myself, and I'm going to do what it takes to get more for myself. And you've done the same for yourself, man. So I applaud you for who you are today, man. So I know this conversation, for those that's hearing it, is going to touch them, man, and be able to see that it's cool to be in automotive. It's okay that I can work in automotive. I can start small scale and then big build. And then now you have the aspect to build another one. And now you're making a franchise in the sense of out of your, and you have your last name. Hey, and not that you're saying you're doing that, but it's very important that we can build something that's legacy. If your son grows up and say, hey, Dad, I want to do this, you got something for him to come to do. And that's major, man. That's really big. So I applaud you for that, especially in the space that we working with young men, seeing that the young people that don't have that, that don't have a dad in their life at all, or having someone that can say, hey, I have something for you. You know what I mean? I want you to have it figured out. You don't have to do this, but if in case you need to, this is something you can do. So, man, that's really big. So I definitely want to
thank you.
Spin it back to the guys. I don't know if y'all got anything for Brien before we spin off.
You were talking about the experience. So when we called Jeremy, man, it was funny because most times you take a car to, like you said, you take it to the shop. We know labor is one of that's how you cash out. But the return, the way that he called, and he was trying to get it back to us right away. Of course, the part that we needed was gonna take a little longer. But that experience for me, it was like, hey man, they're really on it. So, hey man, if you need your car fixed, go to
Thanks, man.
How about yourself, Miles?
Just appreciate what you do, as you already know. I mean, I've seen on both hands what you do for the community. Your willingness to help teach the youth, and then also to turn around and help out, people who desperately need that vehicle, to just make ends meet, or to even obtain greater opportunities for themselves and their household. I've seen you, step up and help out in a major way on both of those aspects. So, definitely just keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it. I know the community at large, if they don't feel it now, they're going to feel, your impact that you have in the community.
Thanks for that. Both of you.
And I want to, this just came to mind. If you had to give some advice to an aspiring entrepreneur that wants to start a business, they're right now, they don't know which way to go, what to do. What advice would you give inspiring entrepreneurs that are looking to start a business?
Decide what you're good in. Put some time in that field, and then don't let someone tell you it's not possible. I mean, do due diligence. Don't just hop into something because of whatever. Make sure it's the right field. Make sure it's the right thing. But then just do it. I had tons and tons and tons of naysayers that said don't do it, and it's not the right time, or maybe procrastinate a little bit longer, maybe hold up a little bit more, maybe a couple weeks, maybe next year. Next year is a good time. Lots of that, tons of that. And no, now's the time. Maybe last year was the time. Just push. you got it. You can do it.
Yeah,
You can do it.
I love it. Just like Brien said, man, now is the time. Now is the time for you to like that button, hit that like button, subscribe, and do the things that you need to do, man. Coming on this video, great sit down with Brien, man. There's a lot of things you could take from this, but what I need you to do right now, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Man, we've been pushing these out. I think you may be episode 55 when this one come out, or 56, either or. Man, we getting up there. We just had our 52nd, our year anniversary on the podcast, man. So we've been pumping them out. It's been a fun experience, man. Sitting down with people. It's one thing to know someone, but when you actually sit down with them, you leave like, man, like we really know. I really know who you are now, and that's a beautiful thing. So this sit down is going to take us even further. Maybe something that comes up that we're going to draw back to this. Like, let's hit Brien up, or even the same vice versa. Let's hit the guys up, and we already locked in. So, man, I appreciate you. We only got more good things to do for our community. So I appreciate you. And so like, subscribe, comment, make sure you do that. And before we're going to have you end it, Brien, so what we're going to do, this is your camera. You're going to look in that camera, and you're just going to get whatever on your heart. You got some viewers watching you. Your family's probably going to watch this, so no big deal. but whatever you want to tell the people to end it, man, you can end it in your own way. You can tell them where to find you, how they can find you, and all that as well.
All right, this is Brien from Weide Automotive, presenting from Cut Difference Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. These guys are really, really awesome. Let's make sure we find out a little bit more about them, a little bit more about what Jamie and the Cut Different crew does. Weide Automotive is a big, important aspect in the automotive industry, yes, but let's focus on community. Let's focus on doing something more. We can always do a little bit more for our town and our communities. So that's what I want to present.
Right, man. And you can find him. He won't say it, man. You can find him over here. I don't know the address, but give you address.
All right, 822 Northeast 14th Street.
Yeah.
It's right next to Tuscarora Park here in Ocala, Florida. 34480.
34480. 352-34480. All right, you can find him by Tuscarora Park. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time.